Before we was really interrupted by people commentary. That's what you call it, a commentary. She had a young man. I don't know why people think they got to lie. It's nothing to lie about. I can understand the mother. Wayne, since you like to talk, she called you out for everybody. You got for lessons. Oh, time out! The hell has froze over. Now she was a straight woman trying to sleep with her.
I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. He tickles me so much. Andre! And he stood up and you studied. And he took them 3 steps, and I had to turn the brightness on my TV to make sure I was corrected. I did.
This is why she's out.
But no.
Micah muted my mic.
Stop.
Hold on.
Stop.
You can't do that. You can't mute my mic. He'll walk by you and say, Black Lives Matter.
The one who you don't like it, that they get fired because they're doing excessive force. But you don't like black people. Which one?
Sit up. Hold on. Let me sit up. Hold on. Let me adjust my role.
Not today.
Let me adjust my role. Okay.
He went in. He's bad. Like, come on, bro. In my opinion, he was not attractive. And I didn't say so. You're not going to come from my husband.
It wasn't no time.
Like it's like you don't feel like whoever you talk to, I don't feel like they're attracted to you, but you. So access to the capital like that, it would have been a cat up in that booty.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of All From One. I am Micah-Jamal. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Micah-Jamal.
And you know it's your girl Chris. You can follow me on Instagram at littlebitIsBig.
I'm your boy K Ring. You can follow me on Instagram at IAM__IT.
Hey, I'm Lamar. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, _, saving edges and hairlines, one person at a time.
And we're going to go ahead and let's say this, okay? When you have not been replaced, but you're not irreplaceable. So if you want to walk off and walk out of your negotiation, we got something for you, okay? But we love you. All jokes aside, Wayne is back home. He had a death in his family, so our prayers and thoughts are with you, friend. We love you so much. And we did have someone to step in, and we know they can never fill your shoes, but they're going to try, all right? So, one day, like, right, Wayne. So how have you guys been this weekend? Well, this week. How was your week? Anybody did anything over the top spectacular this week?
I got a new job.
Hey.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Securing that bag.
Yes, got to.
One bag at a time. For me, I'm just, I've been chilling. God got a couple of opportunities on the table. I'm prayerful that I'm gonna get that one. The interview went really well today.
Man, you got it. You got it, girl. You got it. I'm ready.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you. She said she liked the new intro, but then she came back about Wayne, talking about, I was going to say, I tuned into the wrong
Listen, Wayne, get the money.
We try to tell Wayne he's the favorite, but he don't want to listen to us.
Yeah, I'm not going to do my cream monster like that, though.
Let's not talk about cream.
Exactly.
Cream is what his name is.
Cream will make you cream, honey.
Okay.
Well then. Well, I'm going to shut up because tonight Lamar is going to take the lead.
Come on,
so
somebody.
Lamar, let's see what time. And I'm nervous. I don't know what he have planned. I do not want to know. Oh Lord. Lamar, it's your show, baby.
Monte, you my favorite too. #Monte.
So, thank you. Did it myself. So today, I just wanted to pick my coworkers' brains because I've noticed that I am the one normally spilling way too much information about myself. So today, I'm going to turn the tables to them. And I'll start with something very nice, soft, and easy in life. So the first topic of today will be, who all grew up in a divorced home? And if you did, how did it set you up for the person that you are right now in this moment? And what is one thing you wish you probably could have done better?
Okay, so I'm gonna say that one more time. I grew up in a divorced home. My parents got divorced at the age when I was 13 years old, and so it was very difficult for me because I was starting to go through like puberty. Oh, they still can't.
Oh, that's old. They should be able to hear now. Yep, Wayne said we back.
Okay. So it was kind of hard for me because I was trying to, process everything in addition to like becoming a young lady. So what was the other question?
If you could tell your younger self something different when you were going through that, what would it be?
It wasn't my fault.
I'm gonna chime in on that note too, if it's okay. I grew up in a divorce home as well, from the age of 4 actually. So for me, the impact it had, I did think it was my fault. I couldn't understand why my dad left. So that was one thing I beat myself up about a lot. And but what I would tell that child now is the same thing. It's not your fault, and that you are worthy of love. You're beautiful, and yeah, you're loved.
Micah.
Well, I did not grow up in a divorced home, but I did grow up in a single parent home until I was 15. So although my mom did get married when I was younger, that said person was not there long. But mom, and I just was talking to my mom about this the other day because when you look at, and not to no disrespect to my cousins, but when you look at raising up while we was growing up, it looked as if my cousin and them had everything because their mom let them do whatever they want. Their mom let them do blah, 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 blah. And mom was more strict and more structured. And look at us now. Baby. So, I was talking to my mom about that the other day. Like, thank you so much because we didn't understand what you were doing when you was doing it. But thank you because we're the people we are now. And then, of course, I was adopted by the Birches, and I don't talk to them anymore, so I don't care. But they don't talk to me anymore. They just own me.
What? Okay, so there's a story behind that?
Yes, but this is not the story.
Okay.
But what would you tell yourself now? What would you tell your younger
I would
self?
tell my younger self is just embrace where you are and use the life that you have to fuel your ambition. Because I was looking at it that it was a struggle, it was a cripple to me instead of using it as fuel to my ambition. Now I do, but if I would have done that 10 years ago, no telling where I could have been today.
I grew up in a divorced home. My parents divorced when I was 8. Oh, that was another question. My parents divorced when I was 8. So I remember my mom sitting me down to explain to me and my older brother what was going on. Didn't make sense. Of course, I'm a mama's boy, so I had an issue with the fact that my mom was like, I'm about to be gone. And my dad was military, so she was like, you're about to go across the world to live with your dad, but you're going to come back home. That part never happened because my dad never let us come back home. It was difficult for me because I feel that if my mom tells it, hell, even if my dad says it, I am like 50-50 of both parents. So my temperament, whenever I'm standing in front of the other person, I feel like my dad, in my dad's case, looked at me as if I was a reminder of my mom. So, like when people say you can't necessarily you love your kids equally, but the way that you go about responding to them is not the same.
Right.
And I don't think my dad ever took the time to sit down and say, how in the hell do I respond to Lamar? So it sucked.
It's a lot.
It sucked.
It's a lot. It is. Especially being in that single parent home where your mom disliked your dad or your dad beat on your mom or something like that, and then you're the only child that looks the most like your dad. So you have to deal with that. Yeah. Or you act like your damn daddy. You get on my nerve like your damn daddy. You have to deal with that. And that was, for me as well, kind of difficult because I take a lot of blame for stuff that I did not do because I look like my dad. But I mean, of course I'm going to because he's my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
And I personally never understood why. And you say whatever you want about it. At the end of the day, I hate when parents take it out on kids because they had nothing to do with your. I'll be nice. Your decision to go lay down with said person.
Yes,
that is your decision. You was drunk, grown, or whatever you want to use excuse, but that's your decision. And like I was talking to my mom the other day about somebody else's parents, and she was like, "Oh, are they gonna come?" I like, "No, mom. His mom, it sucked." Mom was like, "Well, you cannot. You need to have respect because it's still his mother." But mom, you living in the world of you was a good parent. Not all parents are good parents. And some of them put kids through hell because of their decision and what they did. What they've done.
Okay, and granted, that is very much so true, right? Every parent parents differently, right? Every parent has a different experience that causes them to parent differently. So in terms of respect or non-respect when addressing or mentioning somebody else's parent, I think if your mom watches this, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not per se like what they did or did not do that causes them to be a sub-parent or a great parent. It's just a matter of that is still the person that birthed that person. So regardless of the situation, like even if you told me your story and I felt like one of your parents were trash parents, right? I still would respect the fact that they're your parents regardless of your experience because that's still your parent, period. But that's just me.
But there's nothing wrong with that. But see, that goes into point case if you're in a relationship. So for me,
because Jasmine said this is a tough question. Y'all are so vulnerable and disappreciated.
Because for me, my ex was big on family. So for him, when he met me, it was very much at a point. Me and my dad did not talk for 4 years, like at all. So for him, it was like you only have one parent. Never thought about it that way. Did not ever care to think about it that way. But I was like, okay, you got a point. Well, let's try. And it was, and then there was an episode where I was graduating from college, and he was actually going to pay for my family to come to my graduation. Didn't tell me about it. Had no knowledge. So here I am at graduation, excited, thinking, okay, I guess they're here because I thought that my dad was coming. And then someone slipped up and called me and said, I'm so sorry I won't be there. I had finals. Dad was supposed to come, but he didn't come because your cousin graduated and he didn't want it to be there.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
When I say my ass cried so bad, and like my classmate was like, damn, you that happy about graduating? I am. I went through so many emotions in that one moment that by the time it was like Lamar Hines, I was like, and like I remember laughing because one of my friends was going through a divorce, and I was like, I would always laugh at her overcompensating for whatever her ex-husband was doing. So somehow my mother managed to maneuver through the audience And while I was walking off the stage, she like tapped me. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much, because I cannot do this right now. Yes. And you know, I'm that person, my emotions are like this, and I couldn't contain it. So when she hugged me, I was like,
Thank you. Yes, my God.
Then we leave, go out to eat, and now I'm like, you have to fake the living hell out of this, because you're about to have all these people at this dinner table. Congrats, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
That's, you know what,
Yeah.
Lamar, I definitely feel you on that, because at my graduation from my bachelor's degree, my dad came, and the person that I was with at the time, I guess he planned this big engagement thing. My dad didn't know this man from a can of paint, and he wanted to not only leave my graduation early, but he okayed for this person to propose to me that he didn't give him the third degree, like, who are you going to be my daughter? Like, nothing. And then to find out, he's like, well, I gotta go. I'm like, I just graduated. This is a huge moment. Like, I'm not science savvy, and you want to leave early? But that's the pattern that he showed me throughout my life. So it's like, do I consider him parent of the year? Absolutely not. But if somebody came to me and tried to say something about my father, i.e. cousins or whatever, they gonna get that work, because nobody gonna talk about my dad.
But was he there for you at the beginning?
No. My dad's never been there.
See, because like I think from my perspective, I look at it a little different, because my dad wasn't there at the beginning. The only memory I have of my dad growing up was he came to, well, beside waiting on him, he never showed up to pick me up. But this time he came randomly to get me. He had my older brother, in the truck with him, and he was like, son, I need you. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm about to go hang out with my dad. And how I said that, my dad picked me out that night. And so basically what he did was he came to pick me up so I could go race someone else for money. Okay?
Wow.
So that is why
he was using you.
come on here and high five me.
So that is why for the longest, for about 15 years, I did not eat KFC. Because what happened was I was running, I fell, because I came and I passed a guy, and we were supposed to turn around, and I fell. And I heard my dad was like, come on, don't let that mother beat you. You're going to make me lose my money. Don't let that beat you. And so, in the store, I beat the guy, came back, and I outran him, I beat him, and then we went to KFC. So that was the only childhood memory I had of my dad. So for me, KFC was like, because it brought back that memory. But it wasn't until my dad went to prison for the umpteenth time. Then he changed his life. And then by the time I graduated high school, my birth mom, my birth dad, his wife, and my godparents was all there. And that's when I started having a relationship with my dad. It was when I was in college. And I drove up to Jacksonville, and I cursed him out and told him why I hated him and everything that ever happened. And we got a relationship. Now that he's like one of my best friends. So I don't. So it's backwards. Cause he wasn't there at the beginning, but now he is.
I'm actually glad though you have a relationship with your father now though, because myself, I still don't. And my dad, like I said, my mother and my father broke up they split when I was 4. My dad, he was kind of there in and out a little bit when I was like 8 and then 16, but then he was gone. Right. And then he showed up at graduation, which just shocked me, because I was like, wow, okay, you're showing up at my high school graduation. I don't need you now. I'm graduating from college. I went through life without you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why are you here? But I was actually, at the same time, also grateful that my mom and my dad, my brother, mom, and dad were both there. But it just shocked me to see him. And then he didn't even give me a gift or anything. It's like he was just there.
For college or
high school? High school.
Did your dad graduate high school?
Yeah, he did. But he graduated high school, and then it's crazy. I went to the same college he went to, and then I dropped out the same year he dropped out. He dropped out of Benedict College in his senior year. I dropped out my senior year. So my mom always had a fear of me following in his footsteps, because he was a drug addict and in and out of jail, like I said, for the umpteenth time. And even right now, I think he's in jail in Arizona. So, but we never developed a relationship, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes your mom or your parents can kind of poison you against them as well. Yeah. Because they have so much hatred and anger against them, so they kind of poison your mind. And it got to the point where, when he goes show, I was like, why are you here? But that was really my mom's energy, not my own energy.
That's a good point.
And I can piggyback off both. Because I feel like the only time me and my dad ever had any relationship was when I did track and field. That's it. Other than that, all summer, all school year long, it was kind of just, I come home, I was Cinderella. I was Cinderella and Harry Potter all wrapped up in one. My high school graduation, I feel that my dad was only there because my little sister was in the choir. If she wasn't in the choir, I'm sure, because I think the last 3 years of my senior year, I pretty much was at home by myself anyway.
So I have a question. And excuse me, audience, for a second. So what you wanted to do about the sit down and talk situation, you think we can do that on Thanksgiving?
Who?
They all will be here.
Who?
Your dad, your sister, my mom. They will be here.
No. Been there, tried that, done that. Because for me, if you're not even able to acknowledge what's happened, there's no point. We've had this conversation before, and with my dad and even with my older brother, it's almost as if I grew up living in some fantasy fairy world.
Yeah.
And for me, that is an automatic, I'm about to beat your ass right now. If you want to act like I'm just created all this shenanigans.
You know what's funny? Me and my boyfriend literally was talking about this last night or the night before, where parents perpetuate their feelings of how we should feel about things, right? So then when we go back and recount what really transpired, they're like,
oh, you imagine?
No, that didn't happen. I'm like, no,
It
Mom,
happened.
that happened.
Now when I throw this chair at you, that didn't happen either.
He doesn't look violent, right?
Right.
Because real talk, me and my dad have gotten into full-blown fist fights. Like, I think that was a bad fight. We'll go with a different one. I would say the most decent one was when I body slammed my dad through my sister's closet door. And then my cousin came and was like, Lamar, and I was like, if you dare touch me, so help me God, I will wear your ass out next. And then he was like, let me go get your sister, because I don't even touch you. And like my sister was literally everybody's saving grace when it came to my temperament.
Right.
Because I would do my best not to show out in front of her. But my sister was always aware that
It was about
His issues.
come on.
I think now too, it shapes who we are and how we react to certain situations now. So like even now with my parents and the type of relationship they had and how volatile it got at one point. When I hear adults argue, I can't handle it. Like my anxiety like shoots through the roof and I'm like shaking real bad because as a kid I used to go in the corner. I'm really dramatic. I used to go in the corner. I used to shake real bad, and I used to cry. And so now when I like if y'all. The night Mike came out.
That's what that was.
Although I was like cracking jokes, my anxiety was so high.
So now that goes to the next question.
Well, let's read some of their comments before you go to your next
Go
question.
ahead.
It's getting good. I'm sorry.
So Chris on YouTube said, I really appreciate this topic and conversation. To be able to get so many different viewpoints at one time. On Facebook, Vontae said, y'all better preach. I was just talking of this same subject the other night. Oh, I cannot see. The reason I text you the question that the other night. Oh, got you. And then we had Jasmine on Facebook. She said, I think you all are seeing the humanity of being a parent, seeing them outside of the relationship you want, seeing the action and addressing the action. It is hard because we place so much weight on a role and not accepting that sometimes they aren't equipped.
That's good.
That is a good point. That is a good point because they probably wasn't trained.
Which
Yeah.
goes to the
Yeah.
question
Mom,
that
Dad,
whatever my friend asked that night when she was like, do you think your parents failed? And I was
Right.
like, oh, hell yeah.
Right. Also on Facebook, Vontae, well, imagine your parents divorced because your father didn't believe you was his. But you felt that growing up without knowing the backstory. Imagine that. Ooh, that's
Wow,
deep.
that's deep.
Vontae,
That
let's
gets
talk about
hot.
it.
Lord Jesus. That's a who? I better take a drink on that.
Hi, DeMonte. Juan said that's good, Jasmine. Right?
So, with that being said, because at my salon, me and some of my wonderful co-workers and our people was having a huge debate. So, really, girl?
Because of war. Dang.
What happened to being a Christian and being this godly earthly woman?
Why don't you say she having a hot fat ass chest under your neck?
Come on, Cream.
Same way.
But no, okay, but now, okay, so here we go. So back to it. So based off of all that you have gone through, and since you two are in a relationship, I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Okay.
I'm very happy.
Yes, I know that's y'all are happy. I'm so jealous.
Take
Oh my
it,
God.
glowing,
It's in a good way, though. In a good way.
growing and glowing.
Oops.
That's so lovely. You be like, oh, they're so gay. I love it. They are happily gay. Happy as hell. I want to be happy as hell too.
Dude, so because of all of that, now if you weren't over all of the things you've gone through growing up, is it fair for you to present yourself to someone and say, hey, I really want to date you? Whether that is your emotional stress, your mental, whether you have yet to really stop and check yourself and be like, I am okay. Like I am truly okay. Is it okay to go up to someone and be like, oh my God, I really like you, I want to date you, and then you have all of this baggage, and now you're about to dump it in their lap and say, handle it.
Okay, so when you word it that way, no. If you're not in a space, and I'm gonna just speak from my own experience because I'm currently going through therapy, right? So
shout out Black folks in therapy.
Okay.
We do it.
yes, we do it. But I think it has to be a point in your life and in your season where, although you do have the things that you brought from the other side with you, how are you managing those things? What are you doing to have control of your emotions behind those things? What are you doing to make sure that you're intentional and not allowing it to penetrate or affect your relationship? So like with me, my dad not being as present as I would look, I had daddy issues, right? So there's certain things like validation and things that I've had to, and I'm still having to work through in therapy to make sure that I don't bring that baggage that I'm already carrying and make it present in my relationship. So it's one thing to have baggage that you're working on to control it and to maintain it. It's another thing to have baggage that you have not addressed and you're trying to jump into something when you're not addressing or trying to fix what you have going on.
Jamal, because you zoned out for like a split second, baby. I need you to come on back and answer that.
Because my thing is, and she hit it on the head, it's all about management. Because no one is going to be perfect and ready for a relationship. And I think we was told a lie, not a second drink. I think we were told a lie that you have to find the perfect one. Michael Sapwell said this to me one day. He said, "Is no such thing as the perfect one, because that is all determining where you are in life. Because you can be in Tampa and find the perfect one, but you can also move to China, and that surrounding find the perfect one. So it's more of who is the one that I can be imperfect with.
Ooh, that's good.
Okay. So that is what I had to think of. Who is the one that I can be imperfect with, and you can be imperfect with me, and I can manage my garbage with you.
And that's what I was just about to ask. I was going to ask, because you said you're managing the stuff that you do manage, does your partner know what you're managing? Because everyone comes with baggage. We all have baggage.
Absolutely.
So, it's you knowing I know what my baggage is, my strengths and weaknesses are. And I'm coming to this relationship with you, and I know what these things are, so I can discuss it with you. So you already know what my triggers are, what these type of things are, and we're working through it together. Yeah. Because if you love me, you're going to work through my bad shit together. I want to work on your bad shit with you. You know.
But that goes to another point that it's not that you have to be over your baggage. You just have to be aware.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
yes, I agree.
that is why I ask people, even in the interview, if you come interview for my job, what are your 3 weaknesses? And how are you working to get those strengths?
That's true.
Because if you don't know what your weaknesses are, then you're not capable of managing because you don't know yourself.
Yes.
Well, but to answer your question, yes, he's very aware of the things that I am intentionally working on. We have a very open space for communication, and there are times where what I'm carrying or what he is carrying and what we're working through, sometimes you can see it try to infiltrate a little bit, but because we're so open and transparent, we address it, we have our moment, we move past, we talk about it, we move past it. What do you have? I feel it.
That's good.
I feel it.
You ready? That's good. That's good.
Because I feel how you felt, but even like one of my clients was like, well, sometimes you, as he said earlier, you could be the saving grace for somebody. So is it okay to feel as if my job right now is to heal you? And now I done got into this relationship with you, and I feel as if I am just putting all of your puzzle pieces together.
Well, the problem there, and this is my opinion, is going into the relationship thinking you can be somebody's saving grace. You cannot be somebody's saving grace. You can be there to help guide them to get to where they need to be at, to be a part of the process, but you're not the destination. And you're not the thing that's going to help them get to the destination. So the mindset has to change that, oh, I'm going to be a saving grace. No. But I will help be a resource to assist you to get to the finish line. And I think a lot of times people go into things thinking like, oh, I just feel so bad. Like, I feel so bad. I just want to help my brother or my sister, and they can.
My baby.
Here. They can do that because I'm gonna say, which you can't. Not saying that's what you do. You're trying to save them, but that's how something that people take on is that's not your burden to bear. The thing that you and I try not to get religious, y'all. Forgive me. I'm trying my hardest not to get too religious. But the thing that we're called to do is to be brothers and sisters to each other and help along the way.
Now,
but not to be.
Now I'm gonna pause you right there.
Do they want it? Do they want it?
Thank you. Because that's what I was thinking. Me and someone got into a whole debate about this because I was like, he was like, you would rather someone figure out their own crap before they approach you, and I said, yes. Because I am not your daddy. I have no intentions on playing that role. Now you can call me that in some other destination, but I'm still not your dad. And so he was like, I
felt that.
Because he was like, I feel like you ain't no ride or die type of guy if you don't want to be with somebody when they're struggling. And I was like, well, see, first of all, which goes into like we were talking about, like with finances and things like that. It's one thing for you to struggle with your finances and I'm trying to get a job. I'm just trying to be stable. It's another thing if you think I'm about to deal with your mind and play this little game where I'm trying to figure out, like, I touched you like this might agitate you. I did this might agitate you. I don't have time for that. But he felt like, if we're talking and getting to know each other, I need to really stop and say, okay, what's the matter, baby?
Which I think awareness is okay. Awareness is okay, right? So if you're aware and like something going on with babe, that's one thing. But to be an enabler is another thing.
Come on now, speak on it.
So let me just throw out some of these comments. No, you get some of these comments because they are very good comments. Brandon Nicholson said, we all have baggage. It just depends on whose baggage you're willing to put up with.
That was my next question.
Which is true. Which is true.
And do they know their own baggage?
Right. And then Jasmine said, there's a part in Insecure where Lawrence and his dad discussed baggage. I think that was an important conversation. Everyone has baggage.
Because if you don't, one day all them bags gonna get in your way.
Make them Make it clean.
She also said you have to be aware and working on yourself. Yes, Jamal. Rue, yes, Christian, and then she said that savior complex is just another form of victimization, abuse. Yes, Christian, is getting into us. I agree. I know I can't barely see it. The screen is small. Oh my God. I'm sorry. The screen is very, very small. They said comfort vocals. Matthew said, I tell people all the time, it is not a 50-50 relationship. It's 100-100.
Yeah.
You need to bring your best to the table in a relationship.
No.
Before you start that, guys, you can't see it, but it's very, very small. So it's like that tiny, and I have my contacts.
No.
So I'm glad Matthew said that because I know Lamar have a different opinion on that. So go ahead.
Come on, Lamar.
Because life happens. Everything is not going to be 50-50 or 100-100. The scale is 100. So we may have an 80-20. We may have a 60-40.
What's the overall average?
Overall, 100. Scale is 100.
But the average that you want to bring to the relationship, you don't feel like you should bring 100% of
You
yourself?
can't always guarantee that. For example,
But you just be half a person. You could be a whole person already bringing two whole people.
No.
I don't think that's what he meant though, because I think we can all agree with you that sometimes you're gonna have to carry your partner.
Yeah, that's true.
like your partner. But I think that what he is saying with 100-100, that both of you guys have to give your all.
But that's if you're aware.
If you're aware,
Because if you're not aware, that's what I'm saying. It can't be because if you're not conscious of yourself, you're not really bringing me everything that you have.
You got things
Or you have people who feel like,
that's true.
I'm going to give you enough to satisfy you because I'm not fully ready yet.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
but this goes back to what we were talking about earlier this week, right? If you're conscious and you're aware of who you are, right?
Go all in.
And you're no. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna be with somebody or date somebody, and you know that person is not at the same capacity or the same level, meaning not like the example you gave was if they're trying to date, they ain't got no.
This is off subject.
I wouldn't even carry my baby. I wouldn't carry my baby.
But baby, you need to get a smaller watch. Your wrist ain't that big. But your wrist is not that big.
Because I know where you're supposed to go, and I stand behind. If you are broke, you do not need to. Let me start that over. If you are broke, you have no business trying to date any damn body.
You need to be focused on yourself. Self-love.
You will not take me to McDonald's. You will not take me to Wendy's. Granted, I do love Sonic, but you will not take me nowhere if you're broke behind. Can't even get me to point A or B.
But this is what I'm saying.
Now, if you went through something, or you've been an adult, you went through some type of financial hardship, whatever, and we're together, that's understandable. I'll carry my baby because I love you. No.
Well, y'all together, y'all not dating.
That's true. That's true.
So one said, oh, Jasmine asked a question first. She said, is the goal marriage or long-term relationship? Is that the goal? But one said, and this is good. I think the idea of 100 is about not needing each other to feel or be complete. Then he said, you shouldn't complete them, but rather compliment them.
Come on now, complimentation.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Because
you already home.
Wherever I fall, that's why I'm single. Because wherever I fall short, you have to be able to just
pick up,
cover that crap up.
Right.
And if you can't do that, we're gonna have. It's gonna always be for me. It's gonna be an issue because I know where I know my shortcomings, and if I date you, I'm sorry for this young my ex. Again, set up a good standard. Wherever I fall short, I probably won't notice some things, and the things that I do notice, I want you to just be like. I feel like it's like when a bride walks down the aisle and someone grabs her little dress and just, you got it. That's all I want you to do. Like wherever I miss the beat, you got it. Yeah. And it's still like, damn, they look
so it stays fluid.
It
flows. It just flows. Yeah.
And that is, and one just brought up a good point in what I was going to say too. He said it's all a process. Because what I was going to say is it goes back to you come to me 100%, bringing me your all. But then as we walk in this thing together, you're going to finally realize that what you thought was 100
Sometimes
only
it's 60.
20%.
Sometimes it's
But because as you grow together, because the prayer
you learn each other.
You learn, and the prayer that me and Babe pray every night before we go to bed is, Lord, show me why you brought us together. What is in him that I need to pull out? What is in me
And
that he needs
sometimes
help?
your cup might be like this. I'm gonna take my cup and
But don't put that in his
No big deal.
It's pineapple. I'm allergic.
So what do you do if you are aware they're giving their all and it's not good enough or enough for you?
So that's not the one for you.
Right, that's not the one.
So do you just say, okay, I'm done, or do you say maybe they're building and they're working?
No, that's not the one for you. If anybody is giving you all that they have and it's still not enough for you, then that is not the one for you. And it's nothing bad on them. It's just your expectation.
It's just your bar's higher.
Is your expectation. So, and I think what people don't understand is
to each his own.
To each his own. So you cannot get offended or you cannot get butthurt. And I tell my clients all the time, if you're dating, you take the risk of getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot date as if you're going to get hurt.
Ooh, that's good.
So what's the best advice your parents have ever given you on dating?
No, mama ain't give me no advice on dating.
Y'all don't have them thoughts with y'all parents?
No.
My mama gave me the best thing in the world.
Christian
And
parents.
then I'll tell you what mama said. You go ahead.
My mama told me, if you ever feel any shadow of a doubt about anything, go. I said, okay. She said, no, for real, look at me. Even if you feel the need to question, go. Why stay? No, so okay. Never, like I never thought that much about it until I actually met somebody who it was just like I'm questioning myself. Yeah, that's the problem because what you said has nothing to do with me, but I'm questioning myself. Mm-hmm. And like I remember laughing because he was like, "You're just heartless, you're cold," and I was like, "That's your perception, but that's your issue, not mine, because I don't think I'm heartless or cold."
But at what point though? Because there's a fine line between this, right? Because what I will say, and I know I'm mentioning my boyfriend a lot, but
you love him.
But you have me so
No, but there's just things that he's brought to my attention about me, not to be like scolding me or to break me, but to bring awareness. Because there's things about ourselves we're not aware of. Now, some people, now Lamar, I know you may be different and you may be aware. And I already see your man going, like, I'm aware.
It's hard to see picture when you're the
It's not that,
but
it's
he
like I
raised it.
said.
So I don't question. I don't necessarily question me.
Myself.
As in, like, okay, like my self-esteem or anything, but it makes me think, okay, let me do some self-reflection. Like, the prime example, and I posted this on my Facebook page, he was on the phone with me one day when I was at work, and I was managing, right? He was like, dang, babe, that was kind of harsh. And I'm like, I ain't harsh, this is what it is. I'm a manager, you should listen to me. He's like, but are you a manager or are you a leader? My initial reaction was to get offended. Because I was like, what you mean? I'm both of them. But in actuality, he brought to my attention that no, Christian, you're managing, you're dictating, you're not leading them. And for me, that's a character thing. Like, you just attack my character, and it makes me think about it.
But I'm okay with that. But in the sense of, if I feel eerie about anything, because I feel like a lot of times we don't ever listen to our gut. And like my mom said, like you only get one try.
That's
with one of my friends, I remember he told me he wanted to propose to his girlfriend. And I said, before you do that, I think y'all should take a road trip. And he was like, why would I take a road trip? Just take a road trip that's longer than...
My God! That's what I knew my marriage was going to work.
Because, but no, for real. My God!
Elucidate.
And I said, take a road trip that's at least 8 hours. And he was like, why would I do that? And I said, do it. And you will understand
because you're in the car.
Because when you are in the car with the person that you believe that you are in love with, all it takes is one argument. You need to be more than 7. You get that. Once you get into that one argument, because you can't. you have nowhere to run to, nowhere to escape to.
If you know for real.
Y'all gotta both go back home together.
But you not even that. Like y'all just made it to 2 hours. Y'all made it to a 2.5 hour mark, and you still got 3 more to go. So either we are going to figure out how to talk to each other so that we can fix this, or we just gonna do what? Go on the trip and be mad the whole time?
So let me,
like you just said, my friend did not post this girl because they
right. So let me read the comments of this because I think you answered some of the concerns while you were talking. Because they had an issue with what you said too.
I don't have an issue.
So one said, being honest with yourself and them, it's okay. He said, best advice, I guess his mom, don't date or marry for potential because there's a good chance that they may never reach it. Oh, that is good. Brandon said you will always be running if you just go. But then you came back to clarify it's not about them checking you. It's about that gut feeling that uneasy.
Something right.
Matt said, I don't agree with that. There are always going to be questions. It just depends on what's being questioned. Yeah, but then you clear that up. So I'm glad you cleared that up. One said, yes, that's a great point, Lamar. Listen to the voice inside. Which
I know what I was talking about.
But you didn't read it. That's why
gave me a hard ass life, Kevin. I ain't got time.
So the advice that my mom gave me, and I think it was she gave me 2 things that I really stuck with. The recent thing, especially with this relationship now, she said, make sure that you follow your head. Because so many times you follow your heart. Because anybody who knows me know that I'm compassionate. I'm very compassionate. I'm full of compassion, and I love to help people. And sometimes
he want to say that he likes to feel needed.
No, not even that. Not even that. Because I wish so many people did need me because I'm God's and friends and while we saying that, friends, this is why if y'all keep saying, Micah, I've been calling you, I've been texting you, I've been calling you. Yeah, I've been trying to push back for people because you get tired. Yeah. But
push back for me.
I'm just saying. But mom said, follow your head too, not just your heart. Because you have to think also about what are you doing. Because I'm so busy. Oh, I like him. I like her.
I want him so
bad. We're gonna get married. And then she turned out to be the devil. Not saying my ex-wife. She turned out to be the devil. He turned out to be the devil because I followed my heart.
Because Christian didn't want anything.
So I need. So you're like.
Okay, so you. It was 5.5 years of dating.
A day.
Okay.
Hours.
It was 5.5 hours.
So I want to have
best friend.
I want to give a situation on what you just said about using your head and not your heart. Because I'm a Cancerian. If you don't guys don't know, that's a weird brain. We are emotional. Don't call us crybabies. I'm emotionally intelligent, not just emotional. But so with the person I'm dealing with, the guy I'm dealing with now, my heart was so tied into him, very tied into him, and we were dating for going on 9 weeks now.
Weeks.
And
that's
so
come on.
It is. So and what he would waltz in with this and press the right buttons in me, turn on lights inside of me, just make me feel all these different ways, and then kind of go away. You know what I'm saying? Then come back again, do the same thing, and I'm like, and I let him do it. You do the same. He push buttons and turn on lights, and then go on again. So then they come back and do it again, and my heart still. I'm like, I love him. I care about him. I want to be with him. I see a future with him. I see a life and longevity, all these type of things. But then the Spirit says, step back. Because you're using your heart right now. Your heart desires him because it's all you've been giving yourself to. So, of course, your heart's going to desire him. But I had to say, okay, look at logically the pattern that he's been doing. He comes, he does this, he pushes buttons, turn on lights, and then move. Then he comes back, do it again, and then move. And then he comes, do it. And so my heart gets hurt, but then he comes back, and I'm like, oh my God, my baby's back, and I'm happy. But it's like, it's short-lived. So I had to watch the cycle, the circle. It kept repeating. So I said, you know what? I need to pull myself back. My heart didn't want to do it because I love him so much. I love when he comes around. I love being around. I love seeing his face. I love hearing his voice. But the cycle, the logical cycle, I said, you know what? he's doing the same thing over and over, and I'm allowing him to keep coming in when he wants to and then leaving.
So I
what did Maya Angelou say? When the person shows you who they are,
believe them.
So they actually don't be paying no attention. He's
Well,
still in the water.
So I have a question. Now we're all dating or in a relationship. The people or
Girl, I've been dating since season 1, episode 1.
I want to say, I want to say, give my free rock. Because I like Kay.
So the people that you guys date, this, like, when I say this, I'm just
better than my
relax. So the person that I'm in a relationship with has some characteristics of the parent that the good parts of my dad, honey, my good parts of my dad, that I, like my dad provided, right, when he was very much so present. Because my dad was a living home dad. He provided financially, but emotionally and mentally he was absent for me. But some of the qualities that Juan possesses is something that I see in my dad. And a lot of times they say we date people who's like our parents. How do you feel about that? Because I know you feel
I almost just said the B word.
I
run.
Okay.
No, you cannot possess anything of my dad. No.
He doesn't all bad. You probably only know bad about him, but he's not all bad.
Okay.
But he goes to
if you meet, see, I would like to say that because if you sit me and my siblings down, it goes back to what I said. I will give a whole different story of my dad. My sister will give another. My brother will give another. So for me, no, that is it. If you do anything that even reminds me of it, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work.
I can say
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Even if I really, really like your behind, it's not gonna work because that right there will make me.
That's a trick. That's a trick.
Yeah, and for me, again, I think I said it before. For me, triggers. I grew up in a house that was abusive, so if I feel in my head, if I think that I'm about to take this lamp and wear your behind out, I'm not gonna be with you. So no, I'm running.
If it ever gets violent, and we do not condone violence.
No. Domestic violence, no. I mean, you ain't gonna slap us out the head. That's all right. A little push. But
fine.
Walk away from it. Because love should not be like that. It should not.
But
a little mush, a little slap, maybe.
But even with that being said, you have to. That goes back to everything we've done discussed. Because oftentimes, if someone did grow up in a very violent home, that is how a version of love looks to them. Right. And that's why I had to get counseling because.
You know, it's part of the reason I even said that because I grew up in an abusive household.
I'm not.
My mother was very. She would hesitate to quit. So maybe that's why I see.
She was the old church lady.
She was old church lady.
Oh.
Yes, she was.
Holiness.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Apostolic and Pentecostal.
So now I have a question for the couple at the table. Is your partner your therapist?
To a certain degree, yes. To a certain degree, yes. And like we always have conversations because, but on my end, it's hard for me to date. So I'm glad that he has been patient because being that I'm a life coach, sometimes I'll slip into that role and it'd be like that. So I try to slip back out, but. I'm able to talk to him about what I'm feeling and how stuff makes me feel. And the very first time that we met, it was like, only thing I require for anybody who wants me is to be honest. Open communication and comprehension. And we can talk about it.
Yes, ma'am. We don't want no dumb man. Come on.
But if we don't have that communication, then we can talk about anything. I should not hear anything from the streets that you didn't tell me. So even if it's a bad day at work, I'll talk to like, babe.
You better get you a grade. He better honk the horn on that. Question. Miss Passion. Who over here been preening in?
My name is Kareem, not Kareem.
Kareem. I thought it was Kareem.
No, it's Kareem. You say it fast, it's Kareem, I guess.
My boyfriend is actually older than me, so he has a little bit more life experiences, and so he's able to articulate and help walk me through. So would I consider him my therapist? Not per se, but he is my partner and my best friend.
How much older is he?
I feel your partner should be somewhat therapeutic.
Don't you interrupt me questioning her. I want to know how much older is he?
He's 7 years older.
Oh. How old is you again?
I'm not putting my man.
Well, that's how we have. You can whisper, they can't hear me.
Oh, but I mean, it's no problem. I think that's
No, but he's 31. But no, but that goes back to he doesn't complete me, but he compliments me, right? So when we're having these talks, because I definitely have things that I struggle with and I battle with, but he's able to pour into me to not only help me see a different perspective, but to help me grow in as a person. Not forget, but the relationship is not the forefront, right? He's concerned about me. So what are you about to say?
Because y'all the couples, we not.
I'm inspired.
So what is the hardest thing for y'all to talk about in your relationship? And I want that damn thing to dig deep, because if not, I'm gonna pull it out. So we'll
I think it's more so like when things bother us, and well, for me, I can't speak for him, but when things bother me in real time, that's what's hard for me to initially take the steps of having a conversation, because I'm an overthinker. So that is hard for me. But once we have a conversation, I'm fine. But the initial presentation of whatever it is very difficult for me.
At this point of our relationship, I don't think we have gotten to the subject that's hard to talk about.
That's good.
I really don't, because at the beginning we kind of shared our darkest secret with each other. So after you open up,
that started off good though.
After you open up
because they only get lighter from there.
Yeah, after you open up that box, it's kind of even to the point, I don't know. Even when it
was a dark box, I know that.
The money situation. Now, I will say that certain situations will cause more, friction with each other. But we talk about our money situation. We talk about sex. We talk about religion, even politics. Because everyone.
Lord, he talks to you about politics.
I am different. But when it comes to politics, I asked him, I said, do my views in politics affect what you feel about me? He said, he told me from the get-go, I don't care what you believe in politics. I'm dating you. I'm not dating your politics.
And I was gonna say, I love your relationship. I've seen you and your mate, and I just love it. I aspire to be like that.
I still haven't met him, so
they are beautiful together. I'm like, oh my gosh! And he's like, they're so gay. I don't give a damn. Like, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. They love each other. You can tell they love each other. You can tell they love each other, and I love it. Wait.
You just dropped the word. You want love?
I love you, babe.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah, what's the hardest thing for you to discuss in a relationship?
Hold on, are you in love?
I'm not in a relationship.
Fine. Still, what is the hardest thing for you to discuss with someone that you want to be with?
I guess maybe my own insecurities.
Okay. So for the ones that's not in the community, just disregard this. Just listen in. Don't say anything. But I have a question. Okay?
And I love my baby too. But I
know that's right. You better say that. So I do have a question, because someone asked me, one of my heterosexual female friends my mentor actually asked me this question about our relationship, and I want to ask you guys. Just bear with me for a moment.
Okay.
We're on the spectrum. We don't gay to straight to gay.
So when we talk about hard conversation, at what time do you think that you guys should have that taboo conversation about HIV or that taboo conversation about just checking. Because what I found in the community is, well, first of all, let me make this clear. Not everybody that is gay have HIV.
Right. That's true.
Let's go ahead and take that out. And not everybody who's gay have an STD. Let's go ahead for y'all heterosexual who are dumb, okay? But when is it a time to actually talk about, when is the good time to actually talk about your past run-in with STIs or STDs, or do you think that that's a subject to even bring up in dating?
Absolutely.
And then I think it's something you bring up. You do want to bring it up.
But when?
When it feels comfortable, I guess it kind of creeps in. I don't know. They may start talking about stuff like that, and then you may feel the need to,
before y'all intimate.
Yeah, maybe before you're intimate. Well, a lot of times this type of conversation happen after you're intimate, though. A lot of times, most times they happen after.
When did yours happen?
So we talked about that our third day.
Day?
Of dating? No, day.
Oh, day. Okay.
The third day, or it probably was the second day that we talked about it. But I've been in relationships that we didn't talk about to 6 months in. So, because I know that is a taboo thing. So when do you think it's appropriate to bring that up?
For me, I'm going to do it on the first day. Only because
Their reaction determines if you stay.
no. For me, my biggest flaw is I am always equipped for the upset. I'm not equipped for no problem with any human I ever come in contact with. So I would rather get it out the way and just let you know everything about me, and you can determine if you want to pursue. So for me, yeah, like that is, which is probably why I'm still single. I will legit lay everything out there within the first meeting. Have your way with it.
Yeah. I mean, let's honestly, you're being honest about it.
And I feel like with the gay communities, older people appreciate it to a fault, but I don't think that a lot of people really appreciate you flat out just saying, because this is who I am. Go.
Living here in Atlanta and just getting around people, I understand now that it is more of, if I don't know, it doesn't.
It's like the military, like the don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell. And it's like people are going around and they are just dating and doing whatever they want, but just don't say anything, don't tell me anything, blah, blah, blah. But like for me, I dated someone and I didn't know that they were HIV positive until way after we broke up. Thank God at that time when I got tested, it was definitely a negative. But again, you didn't tell me. But we had that conversation. But you didn't tell me. See, but that comes from a heterosexual person.
Right.
That's where it comes from.
Because it's different in the mindset.
Yeah,
it's different because at the end of the day, I understand that. But you have to understand as well, because I was a hoe, okay? I was good at something. I was a hoe back in my day before the Lord blessed me with this relationship.
I know that's right.
So at the same time, you have to take all of that into consideration that, yeah, you lied to me, but on the other hand, at that time, I wasn't getting tested like I should have either. I could have easily been positive.
You didn't ask the question either.
I did ask him.
But that's where
it's in this community is don't ask, don't tell. It's not gonna bother us. Because Magic Johnson can
I've gone on plenty of dates. And like if I do manage to get to your house, I enjoy the oh, that's nice. I know what this is. So I'm gonna see if you bring it up too. You might not say a word even though that's your feelings right there for HIV.
I already know what it is.
I know what it is. I do my research.
I do my research,
So-
and I know the difference between
But you're, now that is nothing that will piss me the hell off because people be quick to say, oh, I'm undetected but I'm on PrEP. Or scratch that. I ain't got nothing, I'm on PrEP. Sir, that don't mean you ain't got no gonorrhea, you little stupid.
That mean you got no syphilis?
syphilis,
No
herpes.
chlamydia, no yeah.
So in your heterosexualism, do you
Well, she
guys?
said she was gay for a moment.
Yeah.
It was like,
But
She had a lap. A lap.
but do you guys get tested on regular or what is?
Well, once you get tested together, you know, if nobody's stepping out, you shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. Shit.
Well,
Not really, because certain STDs and STIs can lie dormant for years. And hold on for a second, because this pisses me off too. Because a lot of people, and I hate, if you was a hoe in your past, and you've been dating someone for 6 to 7 months, and something happened to come up, you cannot say that that person was a cheater. Because if both of y'all was hoeing, sometimes STDs and STIs,
you need to say it like Ayanna Van Zandt. Hoeing.
sometimes they lie dormant in your body. HIV can lie dormant for years and not be detected. You know, and that's a whole nother case because there's no such thing as HIV negative. It's either you are HIV positive or you undetected. Okay? Because if you are negative when you go get your test, it's gonna say undetected.
Right.
It's not gonna say negative. So that's a whole nother subject from y'all out there faking that y'all don't have HIV, but y'all can be.
Well, let Cash answer that question.
Ooh.
Because she got to go milk when she get home.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
And I got one more question, and we can end this whole segment.
So
And she gotta go home.
we almost done it, guys.
I got one more question.
Answer that and then one more, and then we out of here.
I think we'll just move on. She gonna forget his phone dead.
My phone dead. That's why
So
it's frozen.
here is my last and final question. What is the hardest thing for you to say? I apologize. I need help. I love you. I was wrong.
I need help.
Speak up, couple.
I need help.
You heard that one?
For me, I'm in single relationship. It's like
Speak up.
That's me. That's like
We didn't hear you.
I don't like to be wrong. So
You gotta say that louder.
I was wrong.
Thank you.
That's
Jamal.
And you guys drop it in the comment too, because I want to know what is the hardest. What are the options again, Mom?
I apologize. I need help. I love you. I was wrong.
actually I scratched that. I can say I was wrong a little easier. I can say I need help.
Mine will be one.
She need help.
One said his is I need help. Jasmine said the hardest I need help, and I will co-sign with that. Mine is I need help.
Wow.
And I love you. It's boom. I was raised with love, so I'm cool.
That, yeah.
Even friends, I will tell you I love you later. I never told y'all about it. Yeah. Love you later.
He did to the
What is that?
They're all sappy and shit.
What
I like that.
Don't be doing that, honey. That's for one.
I like
Read that. That's for one.
I like that sappy shit though. I like
Oh my God.
I like that sappy shit. Give me that sappy shit.
That's not what this episode is about.
So yeah. So I apologize. Used to be, I'm wrong, but I have grown.
I've grown from that.
I have grown with. I can apologize now and I can admit when I'm wrong. Now I would say that's probably the biggest argument that I have in my relationship is because we argue about. I can say that I'm wrong, and sometimes I feel as if he doesn't reciprocate that. And
it puts you off. Yeah.
For me, it's like it's a lot of stuff that I can say that aggravates me, but I don't because I take it as okay, maybe I need help in this situation. What's in me that caused me to feel this type of way versus your action. You know, so that I need help thing is really.
I don't know. Yeah. You found it real hard to apologize to me when you did me wrong a couple months ago. Well, we ain't gonna talk about that today.
But Sometimes it takes time to.
You didn't want to say sorry.
If I don't realize it wrong, if I don't realize
That's different.
One at a time. Queen was talking first.
She dressed me. Hold on. And you just wanted to say Queen. But time out.
he likes to say Queen.
Look, I do this. I do the debate. This is the presidential debate.
No.
She tagged me. She tagged me, as they said on the debate. But listen, that was different. We were being petty.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we was being petty. Even with Jamal, I'm the same way. That if I'm being petty with you, I'm not gonna say nothing. But I have to, and that's why very quickly I check myself and I go back and say, you know what, I shouldn't be that way. I am sorry. Even though sometimes I don't think I'm wrong, but I still apologize because again,
You bow out gracefully.
Gracefully. And another thing is, you ain't giving me what he is. Okay?
Ooh!
Yes,
that was a good harmonize right now.
So at the end of
You like giving me.
at the end of the day, you know.
And see, girl, you ain't playing over there, honey.
Now, let me elaborate. Let me elaborate a little bit because I was saying that, sometimes I know if I don't, you may feel like I was wrong, and I might very well be wrong. But if I have not yet realized it for myself, I ain't gonna apologize to you.
That's right.
I ain't gonna apologize because I'm still like I ain't wrong. Now, when I realize, okay, yeah, damn, when I sit back and think and realize I was wrong, then I'll be a bigger person. You know what? Forgive me. I was wrong. Forgive me sincerely. Forgive me, baby. I was wrong, and I apologize.
Look
But
the band drop.
that
I ain't got time for this. But that, use the damn right. Let it go. Because you feel like, forgive me, baby, I was wrong.
that's me.
But look at this. I don't have time for this. I let it go.
That's a great show.
A TKO, let it go.
But Lamar, you did great. This was
This is great.
Thank
This
you.
was great.
It was a
It's our
great-
first time. I enjoyed it.
Okay, but Wayne comes back next week, so Wayne comes back next week.
Okay, yeah.
I gotta do that.
I'll be at birthday for you.
So, Lamar, which one is the hardest for you?
Oh, yeah.
I was torn between I love you and I need help.
I know because I tell you love you lady all the time. And sometimes he does very rarely.
That's if I'm picking on anybody. With love, I feel that I am still doing my best to understand it. And I mean, like, I'm 30, but like, I laughed the other day and cried a little bit because my mom was like, I just want you to know I'm so proud of you. And I was just like, huh? What that mean? And she went on and I was like, okay, I love you, mommy. With I need help, that's an internal fight within myself because I was never, I don't feel like I ever had a lot of people in my life that I could count on. So the people that I do count on,
I don't want to ask you that.
I don't mind asking the people that I count on. And it's not that damn many. I can name all of them on this right hand of mine. But I don't like to ask for help because if I cannot figure it out, I can wait. I can wait it out.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
And then if I can't wait it out, okay, now I need help. Like I will legit go through all of my resources in my brain of whatever the hell it is that I can do before I say, yeah, I don't have this. This is a problem.
And let me just say, and listen, I'm not everybody's life coach, but just as a general statement, that because I see that most of everybody said that I need help is the hardest to say. And that is very prominent in our community because we're not raised to be vulnerable, feel as if we cannot do it. You know, so you have to understand that. And that goes finding those people in your life that you can say, I need help. and you can be completely naked with them.
Oh, hell no.
But it is possible.
It seems like we can get over everything else he listed. We can kind of work with it ourselves. But that I need help point is like,
no.
I'm just saying.
No.
It has
I do not have time to be wanting to take all of my little full body armor off like you got, sir.
right, and
And just be exposed. Because you got one time to slip the hell up with me and I'm done. It's rap. No.
That's a defense mechanism.
I mean, I'm about to say that's.
But that's also again, that's my upbringing. That's why
I like the defense mechanism that the U.S. have that did not detect the China missile.
This has been such a great.
This is yes, you gotta go.
Look, y'all, I got everybody to finally be open. Because it's normally me.
All right. So anyway, any last thoughts, Lamar, before?
Nah, we gotta let Christian go cream. We gotta let Christian go cream.
Closing remarks and anything.
Honey, that she done came out her jacket. I'm surprised that little bun ain't come out her head just yet. So you know, she about to loosen it though.
I'm not with you.
She is. She about to go.
Child, my photo here.
So
Those right here, the whole only life. I don't know what it's doing.
And I don't
It's
want
holding
no
for the life though.
They, I said, it's deja vu. Go ahead.
So thank you guys so much for joining in. Say what up.
You got the feathers ready?
Boy,
I'm
stop.
talking to you.
But thank you guys so much for joining in this week. Thank you,
Kareem, make them cream.
Kareem, for joining us. Wayne, we look forward to having you back safe and sound next week. Thank you, Lamar, for a great show. And guys, please, if it's anything that you have questions about or anything you want to hear our opinion on us talk about, please DM us on Instagram at all4one or either of us in our DMs. Okay? Love you guys. Peace, have grace, and may God bless you. Until next time. Love y'all.
Love you.